My job today is hosting the Holly Randall Unfiltered podcast. My name is Keeley Rankin, and I am interviewing the one and only extraordinary, beautiful Holly Randall. Holly Randall is an erotic photographer and director. She is also a visionary, an entrepreneur, a second-generation Playboy photographer, an incredible storyteller, and an all-around badass goddess woman. So everybody, let's welcome Holly.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to be here. I have always wanted to be on this show. This is amazing. Who would have guessed? No, but seriously, guys. We decided to do a flip the script thing. If you're wondering, like, why is Holly sitting here? And why does somebody who sort of looks like Holly, but not exactly, sitting in that seat? We decided to flip the script today, and Keely's going to interview me. And I am very excited about this because we're covering my favorite topic, which is me.
It's our favorite topic as well, Holly. You're an incredible woman.
Listen, it's everybody's favorite topic, okay?
I mean, you truly are an incredible woman. You have done incredible things, and everyone that knows you loves you. Everyone in the industry loves you. Everyone that comes on the show loves you. You make people feel important and well taken care of and loved. And when you shoot them, they look beautiful. You have done incredible things. So I wonder if you can actually just tell everybody, in case they don't already know, what are the awards that you have actually won in this industry? Because it's pretty incredible.
Well, there actually aren't that many, so it won't take me long to get through them. I only won my first AVN award 2 years ago, and I got inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame, which obviously was wonderful. I do feel like they did it because I complained about it on this podcast for years until I think they were finally like, will someone just give Holly that trophy so she shuts up? So then I got it. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. And then a movie that I produced called Broken Butterfly with Jeffrey John Hart, my amazing friend and director, won Best Featurette at AVN and at XBiz last year. So that was amazing. And then the year previous to that, the other movie that we did together, Hopeless, won Best Featurette at XBiz. Otherwise, I have won Best Photography site at XBiz twice, I think. And in terms of like the big adult industry awards, I think that's it.
Well, you also just won the podcast award.
Oh, well, so I didn't win an award, but so what I got was the Podcast Pantheon. It's a book. It's a collective of the 101 most impactful and like culturally significant podcasts in the world. And
sounds about right.
My podcast was in there, which definitely feels like a massive win to me.
Huge.
Because I was like alongside This American Life and Serial and all of these massive shows that I would never think that anybody would ever say in the same breath. So that was really cool. But my podcast has never actually won like an award.
It's coming. You never know.
You never know. I mean, every year I get nominated for AVN Best Podcast Award, and every year I lose. So,
as I was thinking about preparing for interviewing you, which I feel incredibly honored that you chose me, it's really a privilege to be sitting up here. I'm not really sure how I got here, but here I am. But this morning I was in Santa Monica, and I was walking down the beach or I guess like along the strip, and I'm wearing a very bright like Farm Rio sweater. So it's like loud and kind of obnoxious. And I look over and I make eye contact with this man riding his bike next to another person down the way. And turns out it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
And I thought, wow, what are the chances of coming here to interview you, to come on this podcast to talk about sex and porn and all of these incredible like fantasy body spaces, which is really what I think of porn as. It's like this fantasy and porn. And here is the man who embodies that so fully. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is the ultimate like fantasy body person out there. And I thought it was such an interesting kind of like omen of like, yeah, this is supposed to happen today. Like we're supposed to have this conversation and really jump into these things. And it started me thinking, like, when you think about porn and you think about filming porn and you think about like the fantasy space, how do you hold that inside of yourself? Like, how do you make sense of it all?
How do I make sense of porn?
Yeah, like where do you hold it in terms of like, what is it? Like, what are you selling? What is sex? Like,
I mean, I think like for me, it's so much less of an enigma than it is for most people. I think a lot of other people put more thought into it than I do simply because I grew up around it. So it was never like a taboo topic for me. It was something that's always been a part of my life, even like before I actually got into the industry. So yeah, I don't know. It's just something that never held like that mystery to me, really. I mean, it did because obviously my parents didn't show me their work when I was a kid, but it was just something that like I always knew was around. I knew that they did it. I mean, for me, porn is any other form of entertainment. It's entertainment and it's sexual and it's very explicitly sexual. It's not suggestive. And it's something that people like to watch to sometimes expand their sexual horizons, most of the time just to jerk off, which is also—
get turned on, have fun.
Yeah, which is also great. Like this is something that people need. I think one of the things is that so many people forget that, one of the most basic drives of the human race is to procreate, right? And you can only do that by having sex. So like people's sexual drive, whether it's repressed or stagnant or raging, is like a massive part of like who we are in our identity. And so many people are raised to, kind of push that aside, to be ashamed of it, compartmentalize it. And so I don't know, it just always makes me sad and surprises me that people have to almost like put so much thought into like, what is porn? Like people don't really sit around and go like, what are video games? What is Instagram? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not in the way that like the industry takes so much heat for what it actually is. It's like there's just so much heat constantly coming to the people who work in the adult industry and people who are part of it. Over the years, how have you dealt with that? Like, do you feel the criticisms, or after 27 years, is it kind of just rolls off your back?
Well, I mean, I think like because, again, I was raised in a family where, my parents were pornographers, right? So I never faced a family stigma, which I think is the biggest issue for most people.
Right. Like, what are my parents going to think?
Exactly.
What are they going to say?
What are like my friends going to think? And it was always like a part of my identity and like a part of, who my family was growing up. So I didn't have that problem, right? Which was very helpful. I think also, honestly, I have the advantage of being a woman. And being a woman behind the camera. I mean, we all know I ventured a little bit into nude modeling.
Yeah, we're going to get into that later.
Which we'll get into, but that was never my intention.
Yeah.
And
it was always to stay behind the camera.
It was always to stay behind the camera.
And why was that?
Because that's just where I feel like I belong. The OnlyFans thing was an accident, which we can get into.
Well, maybe we're going to get into it right now.
But so I think also because I'm a woman, that's unexpected for most people.
Right.
Like a female pornographer.
Right. A beautiful female pornographer that was young too. I mean, how old were you when you started shooting? 20. I mean, very young.
Yeah.
To be bossing people around, telling them what to do, where to put their legs.
Yeah.
Tongues.
So, yes. So I think that also shields me from a lot of criticism because I think people maybe feel like, oh, well, because she's a woman, she couldn't possibly be exploitative, which is not true. I know a lot of women that are exploitative. And then, I don't know, I think also because I live in Los Angeles, which is a pretty like open, city with more progressive, I don't face that stigma so often. Certainly has happened. I mean, I've seen it happen more like in business. That's where the stigma affects me the most.
Like if you try and branch out.
I've been denied insurance. I've been denied credit cards. When I try to, like the most common thing is when I try to find a location to shoot in, if it's porn, people are like, absolutely not.
And why is that? Why are people anti?
Well, there's two reasons. And one of them I totally get. They don't want their home associated with adult. Like sometimes a lot of these places will also do like weddings. Oh. And they don't want people who might be considering renting their house for a wedding
like,
to see it in like my sister got gangbanged number 13.
Right.
Right. Which I Which,
but it's like you were watching My Sister Got Gangbang number 13, but it's just like okay, interesting.
I know. And then the other reason is people generally just don't want you like coming on their couch.
Yeah, right.
And jizzing on their throw pillows,
right.
Which I totally understand.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like no one even wants that happening like in Airbnb or in a hotel.
No.
Like, we don't want to know about those. Yeah.
Right, but that 100% happens in your Airbnb. Nobody just films it.
Yes, right. Exactly. That's fascinating.
But yeah, I think like business stuff, right? When I'm trying to branch out and do other things, getting sponsors for this podcast. A lot of people don't want to sponsor this podcast because of the nature of the content that I do. Even before I found this podcast studio, and we only talk about the industry here, right? Nobody gets naked. Nobody has sex.
Nobody's coming in here, guys. Right. No one's coming in here yet.
Yeah. Well, you might be out there, but I do look great today.
You do look great
Thank
today.
you. I got my hair and makeup done because I was like, we're going to talk about me. I'm going to look good. Yeah. I would go to various studios and they were like, oh, your show's about the adult industry. We don't want you in here. And I'm like, what? Literally, why? We're just sitting here talking. And even like just the discussion of the industry. No. So that's where I see most of the stigma really is in the professional realm.
Right. And I think of like porn as being this really important part of society. I mean, it allows us consumers to view people who are willing to take that risk to put themselves on camera and to be all day at a shoot and have sex and let other people view them. I mean, it's a really important part that we all get to see. I'm curious, like how you think of sex and porn in society. Like, do you see it? Like if it were to disappear tomorrow, what do you think it would take away from society?
I think it would be a serious problem because if people aren't able to release like their sexual, satisfy their sexual needs, release their sexual tension through some form of entertainment that is, maybe detached from actually being with another person, which, for some people is just safer. For most people, it's just convenient.
Yeah.
I think that could be a problem. I mean, you look at the countries that have outlawed porn and you see the most amount of violence against women in those countries.
Right.
So
yeah,
the more
really
you
important
try to repress people's sexual drives, the more it comes out in other not healthy ways.
Right. Harmful ways,
absolutely.
Predatory ways.
Yes. So I think that it plays a very important role in our society, but people don't want to think about it or talk about it. Mostly like in the United States, like America consumes the most amount of porn, but like hates it the most.
Right. We have such a problem with it. We have a problem with people taking their clothes off or people enjoying themselves and
just sex in general.
Right. I often think sometimes there's also this part of our society that doesn't want to think that women enjoy sex.
Yes.
That we're carnivorous or we could want all of these things. So it's like, we're just going to pretend that's not happening because women couldn't possibly desire sex in that way.
Yeah. I mean, and that also plays into the whole like question about, don't you think like women are degraded and victimized in the porn industry?
Right. And how do you respond to that?
Oh, that question makes me so mad. I mean, literally for the reason that you just said, because when you say that, first of all, you're instantly grouping all women into one little fishbowl, right? All women are the same.
Right.
And
the whole industry is the same, not thinking that it is like a whole industry.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're also taking away like women's personal preferences and agency.
Yeah.
So you're saying women are victims, right? We're always victims because like if we're engaging in sexual activities on camera, we must have been forced into it.
Must have been.
Right.
We couldn't possibly enjoy DP. No way.
So there you're painting women as the victim, which is like my first thing. And then, you're taking away like their agency and their independence and suggesting that women couldn't make these decisions on their own. And also that women couldn't be sexual creatures, which is completely untrue. Women can be just as sexual, if not more so than men. It's a spectrum. And if women are sexual and they enjoy being exhibitionists and they want to put themselves out there, they should be able to do so.
Right.
And you never hear people lamenting about like the men in the industry. You never get people going like, oh, those poor men, they're such victims of, the porn industry. It's always the women, right? The women are always the weaker sex. And so, that question makes me very mad.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand. And I think it's like oftentimes, industries have these ideas that go along with them. Like as a therapist, there's this idea that like every therapist is fucked up and they're just like went to therapy school to try and fix themselves.
Aren't you?
It's trying to fix myself.
Yeah, aren't you fucked up?
I mean, aren't we all a little fucked up? I mean, that's like the funny thing when you start to lean into that question.
Right, yeah.
Is like, who's not like a little, got a little something wrong in their brain? I mean, we all do on different levels.
Right.
But there's this stigma attached to the porn industry that like women gravitate towards it because they have no other, nothing else, and they have to have the money and someone talked them into it. And I feel like actually you've been a huge part by having women come on the show and talk that are, performers saying like, no, I chose this. I want this. I enjoy this. Like, this is fun for me. And you're bringing that to life, which I think is probably why you made it into that book about, or the podcast, the top 101 podcast, because you really are breathing life into that place. So no one has to walk around with that, holding that stigma.
Thank you. I mean, and that was literally like the whole reason I started this show. I didn't expect it to do as well as it did. And I'm just like so massively grateful for it. But, I just always felt that the way that people viewed the adult industry and specifically sex workers was just so inaccurate. And they just didn't. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, God, if they just knew them, right? If they just like spent like a day on set with them, like they would see what awesome people they are. And also they're just like regular people. So I was
like everybody else. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, I just want, and maybe I'll do this show and they'll sit down and we'll talk like regular people and people can see like who they are and they can be humanized and they can see that like they're, human beings with a career that maybe is a little bit unusual.
Right. Unusual, but based in pleasure.
Right.
It's like this pleasure space, enjoying sex, enjoying all of those pieces, shedding shame.
Yeah. And I think it's changed so much too, because the way that like the porn industry actually just is structured now has changed so much. So, I know a lot of women that are very sexual that would love to do porn, but they don't do it simply because they're afraid of the stigma. They're afraid of what their family will think. They're afraid of losing the opportunity to, pursue a different career later on. I mean, when you enter the porn industry, you don't have to just think about the fact that like you're having sex on camera and STDs and maybe like lack of intimacy and all these other kinds of things. You have to also think about like the way that society is now going to view you for the rest of your life.
Right.
And it's very unfair.
Right.
Like just because somebody's a sex worker doesn't mean that they could also like be a wonderful nurse. In fact, there's like a lot of correlation between the two. There's a lot of like giving and caring and
absolutely
body awareness and all of that between the two.
Right.
So, I've always felt that the stigma surrounding the porn industry is more damaging than the porn industry itself. It's the way that like people see you afterwards. And it's just comes from such a place of misunderstanding and personal shame about sex. And that's what I hope is starting to change.
Right.
And I feel like it's starting to change because now women have so much more agency over their career.
Right, with OnlyFans.
Yeah. It's funny, I had a meeting with the people at OnlyFans the other day, and I can't remember how it came up, but I said to them, I'm like, you guys know that you changed the entire adult industry,
completely.
Right? Like completely. And they were like, yeah. It was just like funny because like, what can you say to that? But it was this moment where I was just like, what do you guys think about that? You know, like having changed our industry so
And do you think it
drastically.
changed for the better, or you think there's like give and take? Or
I think there's a little bit of give and take, but I think mostly for the better. I think the fact that the power and independence, financial independence lies in the hands of the creators is so much better because that makes for a better working environment. I've noticed that since OnlyFans started, like brands have really changed the way that they treat talent, right? Because now they see like the talent has all the power, and they can't treat them like a disposable thing, right? And they have to respect them. And now like the talent are the marketing machine that they need. And a lot of people come in now with the idea of they're literally like marketing geniuses and they're like, but I'm going to have sex and that's going to be my avenue.
Right. Yeah.
But like all they think about is they're so focused on data, A/B testing and like all this kind of shit that, you know, most people wouldn't associate with a porn star.
Right. That they're actually thinking about these things, that they're managing their whole image in order to become successful and to survive in this industry. Because you've seen it change so much. I mean, so much. Right, with your parents and starting with like DVDs and VHSs and shifting into free porn and now OnlyFans. And I'm imagining a lot of money came out of directing, which is what you were predominantly doing for so many years. Is that?
No.
No. Oh, sorry.
I wish. Directing paid very little, like compared to what like talent made. I mean, I definitely made less than talent. It's funny because to be a director and to really stick to the job and continue to do it, you have to actually like really love it because it's a lot of work for not that much money.
Got it.
Compared to like the mainstream industry, especially, like they get a lot of help, right? I mean, I remember when I did my Playboy TV show, I'd never been on like a big professional set like that before with such a massive crew that really, you know, followed the protocol that most mainstream sets do. There were like, I don't know, like 7 different producers. I was like, I thought there was only one producer. You know,
that just shows my naivety about the whole industry, by the way. I'm not associated or affiliated with Hollywood. So,
But there's like an executive producer, there's a line producer, there's like a story producer, there's like all these people that take care of a very specific part of the job, which is great and make sure that everything is executed well. And also they're like, you know, bigger budgets, bigger overall and need more attention. As a director in porn, you're not just the director. You also have to be the producer. You also have to be the bookkeeper. You also have to be sometimes the stylist. You also have to like, you know, organize the schedule, maybe sometimes like plan locations. Like, I mean, it depends on your budget and what you have, but I have done everything. I've been the PA. I mean, I've wiped up cum off the couch. Like, I don't care. It needs to get done, you know?
Right. So, it's almost like a startup is. Like everyone's playing every role at any moment. It's just like, hands on deck, let's go.
Yes, but you never get out of that startup role. You just
live in the startup. You're just living in it.
It's a lot of work directing porn. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much work it is.
So when you're on set and you're filming, are you just behind then the camera, like filming with the camera? Is that what you were mainly?
Oh yeah, I forgot to throw in. I was also the photographer and the videographer and sometimes the editor too.
Right,
so.
right. Well, because photos are your love.
Yeah,
you love photos. I mean, we're in a studio. There's beautiful photos everywhere. I'm guessing most of them are yours.
Yeah, they're all mine, except for the one of my mom in the 70s, which obviously I didn't take.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful. You're an incredible photographer.
Thank you.
Which most people may not know about you, actually.
I know. It kind of makes me sad now. Like this podcast has dominated my career so much, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't know that I actually am a photographer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. An incredible photographer, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. So yeah, it would, again, depend on the budget. I mean, I came from a very small budget world. So I shot camera as well. And I directed
What is a
it,
small budget? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, sometimes I would only get like $3,000, $3,500 for a shoot.
Oh my gosh.
And like
really small budget.
Yeah. And like the talent, like the female talent's like $1,000. The male talent's like $800.
How are you eating?
The location
How are you surviving?
is like $800. Yeah.
Are you just begging people to come to work for you? Like you're
No. I always pay people their rates. I would do 2 scenes back to back.
Okay.
And then I would shoot something for my website as well, like a solo.
Okay.
But yeah, I had to make that dollar. I had to stretch that dollar.
Wow.
You know, like it was, and you know, I had to feed people too. Like it.
Yeah, all the things that happen on a set. Like you're responsible for all this stuff.
So all those things. So I, you know, it would be like me and one assistant. And we would just do everything. And then as I, you know, got further along in my career and companies like, I mean, really like Twisties was the one that like started giving me like gave me like a first real budget that was like good, that I could hire more people to do stuff for me.
How old were you when that happened?
I mean, this was like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I mean, I've worked for Twisties for like I don't know, like 15 years. But there was a time towards like the end of my career. So I don't know, it was like the last 7 years of me shooting for them or something like that. I don't know. Because they went through a lot of changes, right? That they just suddenly one day they were like, we're going to give you a real budget and we're going to like change the way that we do things. And we're going to give you all of these tools to really be able to produce fantastic content. We're going to give you less work, but we're going to give you more money to do that work, which was like amazing. And so then I was able to get like, that's when I actually hired Jeff, who, directs all the movies that we produce together, because they gave me a budget for a Steadicam operator. And I was like, yes.
Yay!
But again, because of the stigma of porn, I had a hard time finding somebody that was okay shooting an adult.
Wow.
And even when we first started, this is so funny. And Jeff has talked about this, so I know I can be open about this. But when he first started working for me, because, he came from mainstream, right? He was like, okay, I'll shoot the tease part at the beginning.
Right.
And this was just the solos. But when the girl masturbates, I leave.
Oh.
So he would shoot the tease part and then he would like pack up and go. And then I'd have to shoot the solo masturbation part. And the model would usually be like, where's he going? And I'm like, well, he doesn't want to be around for that part. And they'd be kind of like, okay.
Right.
Or the worst part was if for some reason we were doing things in reverse, which we would do sometimes, like say if, I don't know, we had to get out of a location earlier and, we don't shoot sound when we're doing the tease part because it's slow motion. They put music over it, but we shoot sound during the masturbation. So like if we shot the masturbation before the tease, then we'd be done with sound and then people could be packing up, right, while we're shooting the tease because the sound doesn't matter. So like in those cases, he'd like have to go in the other room while we shot the masturbation and then come back in and then shoot the tease. It was just really awkward. Obviously, over time, he just stopped. And now he just shoots everything. He doesn't care. But at the beginning,
right.
We had to like work around these parameters that he had.
Well, it's so interesting. It's like this, the levels in which shame permeates like into our society around sex. And I know like working with clients on a day-to-day basis, which is what I primarily do. I don't interview people like beautiful Holly. Sex or the shame part and sex is such a huge part of like what gets in the way of people actually enjoying their bodies, enjoying their partners. And I'm so curious for you, Holly, if you will, like, do you still experience any shame around sex or your body? Or do you feel like now that you've seen it all, been around it all, like that's just sort of passed through you?
Well, I can't wait to answer that question.
We were just at the point where we were starting to talk to Holly about some more personal stuff about her. And I want to know, and I know many people want to know, and I want to know maybe more than other people, but do you still experience, after being in the industry for so long, any shame around sexuality, your personal sexuality, or just in general around sex?
No, I don't think so. It's kind of funny. I almost feel ashamed of how vanilla I am.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Like you're supposed to be a certain way.
Yeah. And I used to be like way more into like BDSM.
Right. You had a boyfriend that was like,
yeah. And I like to be like tied up and spanked and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Not that I don't enjoy these things every once in a while, but like I'm older, I'm a mom. So I, my sexual escapades have, mellowed out a little bit more. So, but yeah, I would say that like, I think I had like not necessarily shame, but uncertainty around sex when I was younger, just because I was younger, right? And you're
uncertainty, like, am I doing it right? Do I look
good?
Like
you're just uncertain about everything, right? And so sex was obviously like a part of that. I also had a very terrible drinking problem. And I would usually always be wasted when I was drinking. And when I was drinking, yes, that too. But I would always be like wasted when I was having sex. So then when I got sober, I had to like learn how to
have sex as a thing.
Sex sober. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say shame. And I will say that modeling nude really made me feel a lot more comfortable about my body in a way that I wasn't.
Modeling you've been doing.
In the way that I wasn't really before.
Yeah. I'm so curious. Yeah. Because for so long you were behind the camera, right? Taking beautiful pictures of people. What made you, I know there was the leak, there's the website leak of your photos that went live, but it could have ended there and it hasn't.
Right.
So tell us about the journey into.
Well, I think, I saw obviously like how the monetization spike, right? Because I doubled down when those photos leaked and I just put them on my website. Now, I mean, they leaked on my website, thankfully. So I just kept them up because I was like, it's too late. May as well promote it now, right? And so I realized that this was something that, could make, I think there was a part of me that always felt like there was no way I was hot enough to do that. You know what I mean? Like all the girls that I shot were young and beautiful and perfect bodies. And I never felt like I was in that category. So, and then it was slow, really. I mean, I started posting nudes on like my Snapchat here and there because like they could be deleted in 24 hours. So I felt like I could take it back.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, like ultimately.
But it was fun for you. Like there was something fun about it. I could see in your eyes. There's a little glint.
There was for sure. Also like a little bit of fear, but, and
I fear mostly of like what people would say, like would people be critical or?
I think like fear that, I couldn't take it. Like I knew I couldn't take it back. I mean, obviously like I didn't worry about my family. That didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think probably like fear about, dating, right? Because like that's always a thing. Like I know a lot of sex workers have a hard time, female sex workers specifically have a hard time finding a male partner that accepts what they do. So I'm sure that occurred to me. I know it occurred to me.
You're like, it's okay if I'm in an adult industry, but over here behind the camera. But if I'm in front of the camera, maybe someone won't love me or think I'm, marriage material.
Right. And I think ultimately it was the, probably a big part of it. I know a big part of it was the acceptance that my boyfriend had around it, who is now my husband.
Right. Because those leaked when you guys had just started dating?
Well, we were pretty new into our relationship. Yeah. He had not moved in with me yet. And he was okay with it. And I was kind of surprised by that answer. So that made me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, he was like, well, you're beautiful, of course. Like people probably love seeing you.
Yeah. And he just like, he didn't, I mean, that's what's so great about him too, is he has like, and that's the thing that attracts me the most to men is he has an enormous amount of self-confidence. So he's not worried about anything and he trusts me and he's just like, he doesn't really worry that much about what other people think. It's not like he doesn't care. And that's, that means a lot.
Has he been encouraging your...
Actually, yes. So I, was, like I said, posting like nudes here and there, like on Snapchat. And I think where I realized that like this was an avenue that I should probably follow was we were in Italy and we, the airline went on strike. And so like our flights got canceled.
Was Italy. I mean, they're always striking.
Yeah. So it was going to cost us like $2,500 to come back. And I was like, maybe I could raise this money with my titties. And I did.
This is great.
And I was like, okay. And I obviously
how quickly did you raise the money?
Like in a day.
And you're like, I could have been doing this the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, I think I knew that, but I was like, I don't want to like go, I want to dip my toe, but I don't want to really go all the way in. And then we kind of talked about it and he was like, look, he's like, and then I think I told him, I'm like, okay, I think I might want to start like, cause I had my OnlyFans, but I was only putting up like behind the scenes and like sets that I had shot and
like letting people see the stuff,
my
happening.
Work.
Right.
Yeah. Which no one gave a shit about. I could not sell that. I made like $24 a month. Like no one cared about the stuff I was producing.
Right.
They just wanted to see me naked.
Yeah. Well,
which sort of made me a little sad. Because I feel like my work's a lot better than me naked, but whatever. And he actually was the one who said, he's like, okay, if you want to do this, he's like, then let's like do something. Let's do it well. He's like, you're posting these shitty pictures of you in the bathroom.
He called you out.
Yeah.
Funny, because you're the photographer, but he called you out.
Well, because I was just doing like amateur pictures on my phone in the bathroom because I wasn't like trying to make it professional because I wasn't committing to it really.
Yeah, right. You were just, you were floating around.
So he was like, so why don't we go get like a really nice hotel room and you get some nice lingerie and I'll shoot some stuff of you. And why don't
Is he also a photographer?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
How'd that go? Were you really critical of him?
I gave him a lot of pointers.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
My husband's a photographer. Whenever he takes pictures of, I take pictures of him. It's like, we don't even do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's too critical. So
yeah.
He's not your photographer anymore. Is that?
He never really was going to be, but he was like, let's get a hotel room. And he's like, why don't you give your fans like something nice of you? Like, let's like do something that looks better than the crap you've been shooting. And I was like, okay, all right, he's on board.
Aww,
and so we did. And actually, that was really great for our sex life because I'd be in lingerie and, and he'd be, and then afterwards, we'd
have some fun.
Great sex. Yeah.
Right.
So it was actually it was cool because it was a new way for us to explore our intimacy and our relationship in a way that we hadn't done it before.
Right. And I also imagine too, when you're in front of the camera, when I watch you there, you do step into these characters and these roles. It's incredible. I mean, your OnlyFans is incredible. You're a dom, you're a sub, I feel like I saw you it was like a pirate wench outfit is what I thought. I was like, oh, she's like a pirate today. You really step into these roles. And I imagine when I think about what helps couples have more fun sex, it's sort of like stepping into that fantasy space, which is what porn helps people do, is step into that fantasy space. And so I wonder if as you stepping into your body and trying on lingerie and these different characters, if it really allows you to be that role.
Absolutely. Because I never really wear lingerie in my regular life. I would never put stockings on and stuff like that.
It's sexy under there.
I'm like, what am I wearing? I don't even know. Just a nude. All my bras are nude because they don't show through clothes. I have nice lingerie, but I never wear it that often.
Except for people on your OnlyFans.
Well, right. But I don't wear it day to day because it's usually lumpy.
Right. Your nipples are out.
To lace and it's kind of scratchy. But
but you like it because you enjoy wearing it. And so when you put it on.
I do. But I have to say, at the beginning, I felt embarrassed. I felt like this is not right. I should not be wearing this. Somebody else should be wearing this. This doesn't feel like the person that I am. I'm making too much of myself. I don't belong in this lingerie. I should be behind the camera in jeans and a t-shirt. So it was hard. It was weird.
And has that pivoted? Do you feel like you're owning it more now?
Definitely owning it more now, though. I still, my core, feel like I belong behind the camera, honestly. And when people ask me...
Because you love being behind the camera?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's just I'm a lot more passionate about that. Because that's, for me, that creative thing that I get to mold. I don't know.
Versus being the exhibitionist or getting the attention or being seen.
But it's weird though, because I love attention. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a modest person. I like attention. Love me, please. But I don't know. Maybe it's because for so many years, my role was on the other side and it's strange to step into that. And I think maybe also too, I hold the role and the place of sex workers and porn stars, for me, honestly, on such a pedestal because I respect them so much for, what they've sacrificed and what they do and the things literally that they can do with their bodies.
Right. It's hard work.
Yeah. And also I've also always kept sort of a boundary, a personal, professional boundary between me and other performers. I never date talent. I, always ask them if I need to change clothes. I respect.
Try and have really strong boundaries. And that's one thing I've actually really noticed about you and I really respect about you is you're so open. You are just this open, playful person, but you have very clear boundaries, which makes you very safe.
Thank you. But I don't know. Maybe I feel like I am crossing that line by
showing your body,
by doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not so I'm actually doing my first, this is an exclusive, everybody, because actually, if you watch this when it comes out on YouTube, this would have already happened. But I'm doing my first shoot with my very good friend, Cherie DeVille. And we're going to shoot together. We're not going to do any, don't get excited. I'm not going to have sex with her, but we're going to do
that you know of.
I mean, never know. But yeah, we're just going to shoot like sexy photos together, which I have never done.
Wow.
And people have asked me about that. And I always felt like that was crossing a line. Like that feels like now I'm stepping into territory where I'm blurring the line between like, director, producer, and talent. And that's something that is, I think, a very sensitive topic in our industry because there's a lot of directors that do blur that line. And I never want to be one of those people.
Yeah, it makes people feel uncomfortable or there's a power dynamic.
Yeah, the power dynamic. But it was Cherie's idea.
She came to you and she said,
No, it was her idea. She like talked me into it.
Yeah, how long did it take? Just like one conversation she talked you into, or has she been working on you for a while?
No, I think it was one conversation, but it's just funny because actually we had a meeting and we were talking about what we were going to do. And she was like, okay, what are you willing to do? And this and that. And I almost feel like she was like pushing my boundaries a little bit. She's like, so you're cool with us doing like a JOI together, right? I'm like, no. And she's like, well, we'll see on the day on set. I'm like, oh my God.
It's a total role reversal for you.
Completely.
Right.
And nobody can out dirty talk Cherie DeVille. Like that's impossible. So that feels very intimidating to me as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe you get to play a little bit of like the subspace. You can just go into that with her.
think we're going to do a dynamic where she's like the stronger one and I'm the more like innocent, like, oh, goodness. Yeah. Just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
This is going to be great. Everyone is going to tune in for sure.
It'll be fun. I love her so much. And, I trust her, obviously. But, yeah, it's just something I've never done before. So
it's very exciting.
It is. I'm also like totally nervous.
Yeah.
So.
Nervous just that you'll feel uncomfortable? What do you think you're nervous about?
I think that, and again, like it's like that line. Like,
just nervous about the line. What will you feel like?
I've always like so adamantly put myself in this space where I am on this side of the camera and you are on that side of the camera and like the two shall not meet. And that's happening now, You
have a story, if I remember, about being a kid, like as a child, like you'd never felt sexy. Is that true? Okay.
No. Yeah, no, I was not popular in school at all. And humble brag here, I skipped first grade.
Right.
And I was already young for my grade because my birthday's September. You know this. We have the same birthday.
For those of you who don't know. Yes.
So I was young already, right? And so like I was really young. Now I'm like almost
really young.
Like a year and a half younger than some people.
Big huge difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always felt, out of place at school. I always felt, I was emotionally less mature than other kids. And so that was kind of hard. I also just have like a overall sort of hard time like connecting, I think, with people in general anyways. But yeah, no, I didn't know how to dress. I had like an overbite and buck teeth. I did not know what to do with my hair. My hair is hard to deal with. I don't always have Ricardo. But yeah, so I always looked like, I looked nerdy and like stupid. And boys did not like me. And I definitely did not feel sexy.
And would you have crushes on kids when you boys when you were, like crush hard, but then felt like they never were interested?
Yeah. I mean, there was tons of unrequited crushes. Like, I think I've told this story, the Valentine's story with my dad. Yeah.
It's a great story, though. You should definitely tell it for people who
That's going to make me cry.
Oh.
I have tissues over here. Ricardo said it's waterproof mascara.
Yeah, so we're about to find out.
We'll see. So there was this boy named Francisco in school that I had a big crush on, and it was Valentine's Day. And we all made our own like personal Valentine's Day mailboxes, like out of cardboard that we would tape to the edge of our desks. It's so funny because I think about the way that like teachers treated kids back then and the way we do it now, like how we know so much more about mental health and how to like not make kids feel ostracized and less than and all that kind of stuff. But back in my day, we didn't know that stuff. So anyways, we made Valentines, and then it was like, okay, go and drop the Valentines off in the mailbox of whoever you want to give the Valentines to. And I like didn't get any Valentines. I got like one from the teacher and like one from like that kid in class that just makes the Valentines for everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember him walking with a Valentine's card like towards my desk and by my desk. And it was one of those moments in the movies where it's like slow motion.
He likes me.
He likes me. He's going to put the Valentine's card in my box. And he walked past it and put it in somebody else's box. And that was like crushing for me.
Right. Heartbreaking.
And I came home and I cried and I told my dad. And I started getting secret admirer letters after that. And, you know, didn't know who it was from. And they were just really sweet. Like, I think you're really beautiful. Sorry. And I like watch you. I think you're really special. And it was like, who the fuck is writing me these letters? I mean, but you know, it was like, it meant so much to me. I was like, there's someone out there that thinks I'm like special and beautiful. And like,
enough to send you.
Like there's some boy out there, you know? And I was like, who is it? But like, oh my God, it was like this big mystery. And then I found out it was my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. So he really wanted you to feel special and know that you were beautiful. Yeah. He was a special guy.
Yeah.
You have nothing but great things to say about him.
Yeah. I mean, I miss him a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when I think about my childhood, I have so many memories with my dad, not with my mom necessarily. I mean, I love my mom, but like all of like my my like special childhood memory moments are with my father.
Yeah. Where you felt special and you just have these like beautiful memories.
Yeah. I want to talk about dicks or something?
Yeah, let's go to dicks. That's a great pivot. Dad, dicks.
I always say that whenever I get sad. I'm like, let's talk about dicks.
Well, I think about sometimes how people see themselves as sexual beings or not. And it can be so directly related to like, as we're starting to find crushes, like what do we think our peers think of us? And we actually could pivot into dicks from this conversation I'm thinking now in my head. But I imagine like for so many people out there, because very few people were like the popular kids that were getting attention. Like most people were not.
Yeah.
And then how do we feel going forward? Like, I don't get to have these things. Like you're almost telling yourself, like, I don't get to be that sexy, beautiful, wanted woman, desired woman on camera because I'm not pretty enough, you know, which, it's a shame that we internalize all of these things. And again, I think that's what porn helps us do, is to like step out and see other ways that people are behaving, other ways people are doing things. And like, you can do it too, you know?
And the great thing about the porn industry is that, I mean, especially now, but like, it's always been like so inclusive.
Yeah.
And maybe not even necessarily within like the mainstream industry, like within the group of people that maybe like walk the red carpet at the AVN Awards or whatnot. But especially when the internet came along and it opened up, you know, the ability for fans to look for the thing that they actually wanted.
They actually want.
As opposed to like whatever they got in a magazine.
Yeah.
You saw that like people love all different kinds of things, bodies of all different shapes and sizes. Yeah. And it didn't always have to be like this stick thin, like blonde girl with like big
boobs,
tits, you know?
Yeah.
And so I've always felt that, and I always feel like the porn industry has been like one step ahead of like mainstream in terms of like being inclusive. Yeah. You know, as we're kind of going down that path of trying to make everybody feel like they're a worthy human being.
Right. That there's a place for them. There's a place for their pleasure, that they're, absolutely. Well, I do think about, though, if we're going to talk about dicks for a second, because I think this is important to talk about, is like the dicks that we see on porn. And I can't tell you, I mean, I specialize in male performance struggles. And so inevitably I end up in a conversation with pretty much every man about like what they see on porn and how they feel about themselves. Like that they're not big enough. They're not going to be able to do it for their partner. So if you were to give advice, because I think truly you may be one of the best people to be giving advice to people about sex, what would you say to someone if they came to you and said like, I'm worried I'm not big enough, or feel like I'm...
Yeah, I mean, that's such a huge, you know, thing or maybe not so huge. Sorry.
Just a tiny thing.
It's just like, you know, it's a thing by which a lot of men measure their like masculinity and their worth, right? Is their penis size. And obviously like the dicks that you see in porn are like exaggerated. You know, porn is a fantasy. It's sometimes almost a caricature of people. Like, you know, it's like the same reason that like the guys who play in the NBA are tall. You know what I mean? Like they just like, it makes them easier for them to shoot the hoop, shoot the ball into the hoop. In porn, guys have big dicks because it's easier to shoot it. Like,
I think that's so important for people to understand.
It's very hard. Yeah. I mean, if you're shooting like two bodies together, right? And so what porn stars have to do is they have to do something called opening up to camera. And that's so that you can see the penetration, because that's what people want to see. So, you know, we normally have sex like this, right?
Like facing the other person. Yeah.
Well, or like hip to hip.
Oh, yeah.
Porn stars have to like guys have to kind of have sex sideways.
Oh, interesting.
So that like you can see the penetration.
Wow. And you can't even really see that from, I mean, I'm going to go look next time I'm watching.
Look, if you start to look, you'll see it.
Okay.
Like they open up to camera and they go kind of sideways and they like pull the girl's butt to the side and they kind of like fuck sideways, right?
So the camera can see, so we can see. Right.
Exactly. Now, if you have a shorter penis, your dick is going to keep popping out of the hole while you're trying to do that. Right. So it literally needs to be longer so it can go back and forth, you know, withdraw and insert itself again without popping out, and that you can kind of bend your dick enough so that people can see the penetration.
Right. So it's not actually that it's necessarily more pleasurable or like more preferred. It's just that it's easier to get.
It's literally like, it is very hard to shoot a guy with a smaller penis in porn and get the penetration, especially if the girl like has a big ass. Oh, forget it.
Then you're never getting there.
Forget it. Yeah. You're never, ever going to get that shot. Like it's not happening.
Yeah.
So that's a huge reason why. And then of course, like, again, like porn is a fantasy. We're selling an overinflated, you know, moment of sex to people, and, you know, just like women get enhancements to their bodies because this is a product that they're selling. And it's the same with the men. So most men do not look like that. Most men do not have dicks that big. I've had sex with a lot of men, and like maybe 3 of them, not even, like 2 of them had a
like,
dick that large,
you
know? So, and that didn't mean that like I only had 2 good experiences. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right.
I asked this question actually of women porn stars who come on my show all the time because obviously like they have sex with these large penises constantly. And, you know, almost all of them say that they prefer a more average size because
amazing. There it is.
However, porn stars' average size is not necessarily the average. Like the average male penis size is what, 5.5 inches? Is that right?
I don't actually even know.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
And I think most porn stars think 7 is average.
Oh, interesting. Right.
It's not.
Yeah. But I think people who gravitate to porn like a lot of sex and are probably more categorized into that like size queen category where they want to be filled up. They really enjoy that. Where not every woman is going to like intimacy, penetration to have that really big filled up feeling.
Right.
Some are. Absolutely. But there's a lot of people who are not. Like they don't actually care.
And like having sex with a really large penis on a consistent basis. You know, we talk about like vacation dick and boyfriend dick. Like that painful.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
there's like we pull out the Enjoy 11 and we use it. But then we have like sex after, which is like, you know, because for people don't know what the Enjoy 11 it is like this ginormous, you know, the Enjoy 11 is. Yeah, this ginormous dildo. It's like so huge, right?
Yeah.
But it's like if you use that a little bit, oftentimes it's like, well, at least for me, I'm like, okay, like a couple minutes and I'm good. Like go back to, you know.
The regular, And I think also too, so many men think that sex is about penetration and it's not just about penetration.
Tell us, Holly. Tell us more. Tell us everything.
Well, I mean, women in general, I find, you know, foreplay is really important to us, right? Because there's a lot of like mental excitement that goes into having sex. I think that honestly, that's why I enjoyed being in that BDSM relationship with that guy for a period of time, because there was a lot of like play, you know, like mental play. And like, I remember, you know, one of the things that like I found so hot was he used to like tie my like hands up to this strap that came down from the ceiling, and he'd just leave me standing there naked, tied, and he'd just sit there and smoke a cigarette and like look at me. You know what I mean? And just like, it
so
felt
hot.
very like, I was like, I'm like this thing on display, and like he's just taking his time, and you know, the anticipation is building. And
he's objectifying you in a connected, objectified way.
Yes.
Like he was probably looking at your eyes and looking at your whole body, and he was checking in with you, right? All of this is consensual.
Yes.
Right?
He was actually the first person that I'd ever met that presented a boundary list, a boundary checklist. I had never seen one before. This is before we started doing it in like the vanilla porn.
Right. Oh, okay.
It's always existed in like kink porn. Like kink.com has been doing this forever. So any like extreme fetish porn, if they were above board, they had these checklists, because when you're bound and gagged and you are not happy, you need to like be able to express that, right? So like they have to do a lot of, they have to be really careful.
Right.
But in, you know, in regular porn, we just never really thought about that until like the Me Too movement. And then we were like, oh, maybe
we should probably check in.
It might be a good idea. But yeah, he was the first person that ever I remember he gave me like a boundary checklist.
And you actually filled it out? Like
no, because I thought it was so weird.
Oh, you were like, what are you giving this to me?
I was first of all taken by surprise, but I also feel like I was uncomfortable because he was asking for a level of communication that I had never been asked before. And I think it made me think about things I had never thought about before. And I think back then, like, I don't know, I wasn't like ready to communicate on that level. I mean,
did you know what most of the stuff was? Because you had already been in like the adult industry, or not really?
I think there was probably some stuff in there that I didn't know. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there probably was, because there's some pretty specific fetish stuff that like unless you work in that industry.
No, I remember when I went to see a pro dom and I got a list like that, and I was like, I was like researching half of the terms. I've been working in the, you know, as a sex therapist for, I think at that point it was like 12 years. And I'm like, but I don't even know what these things are.
Yeah.
Then, I was just.
So I think like that whole mental, you know, that like those mental games that we used to play. And that's, you know, also.
But that's what you're also considering foreplay, which I think is really important for people to know. It's not just outer course. It's not just fingering and kissing and boob sucking. Like it's more than that. So could you.
Feeling wanted, feeling like very keenly desired, the anticipation of the event. Like if you see any of these movies that are mostly focused on like a female pleasure, like point of view, there's almost always this buildup from the man until the event. Like they don't generally just like whip their dick out, throw some spit on it, just stick it in and everyone's happy. You know, there's like a whole thing that leads up to it. And I think that that's what women really enjoy. And I think that men lose sight of that, probably because there's no sex education. We don't talk about this kind of stuff. And people just watch, you know, a quick stepbrother stuck in the dryer clip on Pornhub. And they're like, that's what sex should be. And it's like, it's not actually like porn is generally created. Let's be real. Porn, for the most part, not all porn, is generally created for the male gaze, right? And most guys are like, who has time to masturbate for like 45 minutes? I mean, there's gooning and that's a whole other thing, but generally you want to like kind of get in and out. So there's not necessarily going to be like such a strong, like a long buildup, like a storyline, like that kind of stuff. Like there's the things that guys like, they collect the data, they know that, they reproduce that. So don't get your sex education from porn.
Right, which I think is so important to be talking about as a woman that works in the industry, or anybody who works in the industry, because I think that is where a lot of people are getting all of their information from, especially at a very, very young age. And then there's nowhere for anybody to go because there is no actual real education around like what is pleasure. There's like zero. Education on that, which is just such a shame, I think. And I think what also happens for a lot of men is like when you actually start to talk to them about their pleasure, they don't always even really know where it is because they've been so conditioned to coming so quickly. Like, oh, I just pull up porn. I jack off to ejaculate. That's why I'm here. I'm here to just ejaculate. Mm-hmm. They're not actually there to enjoy the whole experience. And so I think a lot of times too, when women come in and say, hey, babe, like, I want to slow this down. I want you to seduce me. I want you to objectify me. I want you to show me all these things. Men don't even know where to go with that because they themselves have never explored, like, if I was to slow it down and to let sex be more of a part of my life, what would I want? Mm-hmm. Like if I was to back away and say like, yeah, the orgasm is there. That's great. Sure. That's a part of it. But it's just like the orgasm is the end of the song.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Right. And for some people, that orgasm is so, so, so critically important to their erotic life. And for other people, like they don't even care.
Yeah.
People are like, I don't need to come. It's no big deal. Right.
Yeah. And sex is it's so interesting to see too, with the way that all the different fetishes that people have and all the different ways that people explore sex. And that's one of the most fascinating things about my job.
Yes. Well, that was my question to you is what do you think turns people on?
They're everything. There's literally like nothing out there that like I have not like seen or heard like somebody being into.
Amazing.
I mean, okay, let's also clarify it should be legal and consensual and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's one of my favorite things used to be is I used to go to Clips for Sale, which is like back in its day, it was like the only clips store that people used. I could never figure it out. It was always so complicated for me. But if you were like heavy into fetish and
what is Clips for Sale?
Clips for Sale is a website. Clipsforsale.com is a website.
Okay.
But like back in like, I don't know, like 20 years ago, it was like, that's where like you could find all your fetish stuff.
That's where you went.
Yeah. And it was huge. I think it's still like pretty big, but back in the day it was like, that was
the place.
So you just go and you look at the categories there and there's like hair washing, there's, balloon popping, my favorite, the pie in the face. I mean, just like anything that you can possibly think of, like was there. And it's just so interesting, like all these different things that turn people on.
I know. It's amazing.
It's a spectrum.
It is definitely a spectrum for sure.
Yeah.
So I have maybe potentially more difficult question for you. You have very, very little criticism of let's just go with your mom right now. Everyone has wonderful things to say about her.
Do they?
Well, she lifted women up in a way that I think a lot of women needed.
Yeah.
Which was rare in that time. And she was in an industry that was predominantly male dominated. I'm curious, like, do you have any criticisms like of her that you...
How long do we have? No,
I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, look, okay. So first of all, I will say that she is the reason that I'm in the place that I'm in today. Like, let's be real. Like I rode in to the industry on her coattails. Like I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Susan Randall. Like that's no joke. So, she really, helped. She taught me everything that I knew, maybe not lighting and stuff because she doesn't know how to operate that specifically, but she knew what she wanted. Posing was a big part of it. I learned like all of my posing, my cropping from her, how to treat models, really important that girls always felt safe and sexy and cared for. Like it shocked me that there were photographers out there that would like make girls cry on a regular basis. And that was like, okay.
How could you get...
I don't know. Because it's just like, I mean, my mom used to always say, and she was so right. She's like, your pictures are only as good as your model feels. And that's true. Like if you make a girl feel like shit, like you're not going to get the end product that you want. So if she shows up late, if she's a pain in the ass, you still have to be nice to her. Maybe you don't hire her again.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be nice to her.
Right. You try and get the best version of her.
Yeah. Because if I like take her into the corner and I yell at her, like,
right.
what the fuck am I getting? I'm getting nothing out of the day. I may as well just send her home. And I've actually found that often girls who I was told were divas or difficult by other people were actually fine with me because I treated them with respect.
Right. You were respecting them.
And I gave them the things that they needed.
Right. And
I communicated with them and I checked in with them, which is something that they didn't get from other people.
Yeah, you're just such a badass, Holly. Why? Just a badass.
I know. I'm just kidding. So yeah, those were like some really important things that she taught me. And, kind of coming up in the porn industry, I came up in, what I call like the Sue's bubble, right? Like we had a very controlled set, only worked with, her crew members and never really deviated from that. When I started branching out on my own, because once like the internet came along and video started to really become, streaming started to become like a big thing. My mom just did not want to shoot video because she was a photographer. She didn't want to go there. I saw where the future was. She didn't want to go there. So I started fighting with her and I went off on my own. And I started like shooting for Adam and Eve was the first company that I shot for on my own. And then Twisties actually. And then I started to kind of like see how other sets worked. But I definitely was like very protected in the beginning. So all these stories that,
Well, people probably weren't going to fuck with you because they knew your mom.
Right.
And your mom is this bulldog that's
Yes.
like, I'm going to come after you.
Yes.
You fuck with me.
I mean, there are performers to this day that like people are afraid of who treat me very well because of like who my mom was. Like I know that, like I don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
But I will say that like one of the things that I struggled with when I was kind of like coming into my own and coming up in the industry was she started to get like kind of competitive with me.
Oh, interesting.
Which felt strange to me, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm your daughter. Like, why are you becoming...
My success is our success.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why are you like becoming like jealous of me? And like, why are you like becoming competitive with me? And it got like, it got, difficult. And I would like talk to my dad about it. And I mean, and it wasn't until I think really like in the last 10 years or something that I started to see like where she was, because she was like coming to the end of her career, right? And she had always, her identity was like being Suze Randall, right? And that was like her personality, and everything about her was built around that. And I think like with the way that like technology was advancing and the way the adult industry was changing, and she wasn't moving along with that, and she was starting to feel like left behind, like that's a really hard thing.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think I understood or appreciated that at the time because I was young and I just wanted to be successful. And I was just like, I wasn't like thinking about things from her perspective.
Yeah. And
I was just thinking about myself and like, how could I be successful and how could I get out from under her shadow, which I'd always been. So yeah, I think I was really inconsiderate of what she was going through at the time.
Were you guys like actually spar? Like, would you
Oh
fight?
yeah, no, we were fighting a lot. Yeah. And then like I really branched off and started just doing my own thing. And then she, pretty much ended up retiring. And now she's like so proud of me.
Yeah.
Like everything that I do, like she's so proud of me, and that isn't there anymore. But I think I really didn't appreciate how hard it is to like once you start to lose that part of your life, then like, who are you?
Right. If your whole identity has been wrapped around like, I am this character, I am this photographer, I do these things.
Yeah.
And then the industry moves on without you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
And it's crazy.
And you see your daughter like thriving in it at the same time.
Yeah. And I think I just wasn't kind or considerate of her feelings at all. So that's definitely like on me. And it's actually kind of sad now, because it used to be that I was Suze Randall's daughter and that's all anybody knew me as.
Right.
Right. And I wasn't like my own person, and people were always comparing me to her. And now like people don't even know who she is anymore. Like a lot of the younger girls are like, who's Suze Randall? But they know who I am.
Yeah.
And that's like, that actually kind of like makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because she really was like somebody who came up in a world where it was really hard for women, Really hard. Really, really hard. Yeah. And I have to say, look, my mom, and anybody who's worked with my mom will say, like, my mom can be a bully. Like she can be not nice. She always wants to be the one in power and like, the center of attention and like that kind of thing.
She like that just at work, or she like that at home?
No, she's like that just in general. And I remember complaining about that, I think, to like Andrew Richardson of Richardson Magazine. And he said something to me that like, I really like never forgot. And he goes, yeah, but you don't understand the world in which your mother came up in. Like, you have no idea what that was like. Like the misogyny in that world, the way that like women were not allowed into this boys club, and your mom had to navigate that, and she had to become like this person, like almost like this, this bully person, this strong woman who could just like bulldoze her way through like the Hugh Hefners and the Larry Flints and the Bob Guccionis of the world.
Yeah.
And she had to create like these walls and this persona, and like that's just who she is. But like, look at what she accomplished with that. And I was like,
accomplished and changed. I mean, she changed the industry because she was there and able to like respect women in the way that they deserve to be respected, where it wasn't happening before.
Yeah. And I think I just, when he said that, I was like, I didn't think about that. Like I didn't appreciate it. Like I didn't think about how hard it was for her back then and how like brave she was.
Right.
To like, to tell Larry Flint to like go fuck himself. Like everyone's scared of Larry Flint. She was the only person like who was not. So it gave me like a newfound respect for her. I think it's always the way, right? When you get older, you suddenly start
look
to
back
see
and you're like, that makes sense.
Your mom in a different light. You're like, oh, this was actually hard. All of this was hard. And you did the best that you could with what you were given.
Right.
And you had things a lot harder than I did. So like it definitely gave me like a newfound respect for her.
Right. Well, I know we're both moms, which we haven't even touched on in the whole over hour that we've been talking about. But I think about that often. People say that when you have children, and you realize like how hard it is. And we're both, you have a 5-year-old, I have a 4.5-year-old. We are in the muck of it. Like, screaming bloody murder at you. The other morning I wanted to dance to a song and my son was just screaming bloody murder at me. And I was like, oh God, how do any parents, not only my mother, but like all of us make it through? It suddenly opens the world up to this space.
Well, and also like they didn't have the knowledge and the tools and the education that we have now.
Right.
When I was pregnant, I watched I took the big Little Feelings workshop. You know what I mean? Like I read No Bad Kids. Like all of this information that I had to like help me navigate through
the developmental leaps and the changes and what they're going through, and that they're not bad kids.
You can have an app that can literally tell you your kid is going to be a shithead this week because they're entering into like this phase.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, So like what we have now to work with is just like so different than what our parents had.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were just like archaically trying to make it through and survive. And this society was changing at the same time too, because we were becoming so much more insular into our homes, not having so much like community around us, but they, didn't have any of the tools like we have.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that my parents like moved across the world. Here, right?
Immigrants.
So they left their family behind. And came here to start all over again. And so like they didn't have that support.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
incredible. Well, I'm curious, Holly, what brings you joy today?
I think you know what I'm going to say.
Let's see.
I mean, my daughter, like, come on. She is rad. It was her, we just celebrated her 5th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like, oh my God. I just watch her sometimes and I'm like, God, she's just like me.
You made her.
Like, I know. That too. Like I think about like, God, I made you. And you're like this perfect little beautiful child. Like, how did I do that? And I just, I see so much of myself in her. She's so much like me. And I see her, dancing and like dressing up and stuff. And I just like, I see myself in her like at that age. And it makes you, look back at, makes you kind of re-experience like that, your childhood again. And, gives you hope for humanity, also fills you with a tremendous amount of fear because of like where the world is going. Like I remember a friend of mine told me when I was pregnant, he said, it's going to be the happiest, the most wonderful experience and also the most terrifying experience of all time. You're going to experience the most intense moments of joy and the most paralyzing moments of fear. And I was like, yeah. For the rest of your life, by the way. Right. It doesn't end when they turn 18.
Did you know you always wanted to be a mother?
Yeah. No, I did. I like my family and I are really close. I'm really close to my siblings. That was never like a question in my mind. And actually, so I was married before, and I was very unhappy in the marriage, and I stayed in the marriage for a while because I thought that makes me laugh now because I was like 32 and I was like, I'm too old to start over.
Right.
No one's going to love me at 32.
But a lot of women carry that, though. I can't tell you how many women have come into my office and they're like, they feel desperate. Like, I'm 30. I haven't found a partner. I really want a child. What do I do?
You're 30. Yeah. Like, Jesus. But, at the time, you feel so old.
Right.
And so I stayed because, I thought that I would never find anybody else. And I really wanted kids. And I knew that he would be, even though I wasn't, and he wasn't like a bad husband, by the way. Like, he wasn't a bad guy at all. I just didn't love him.
Yeah.
And I tried to make myself love him and I couldn't do it. And so I just thought like, okay, well, he's going to be a good dad. So like, we can just have kids and it's okay. I don't have to love him. I've never really loved anybody before anyhow. So like, what is that?
Your dad spoiled you. He was too perfect.
People always say you'll know love when you see it. And that had never happened to me. So I was like, maybe it's just not meant for me. And we can just have this transactional relationship where he can be a good father and I can work and I'll make all the money and that'll be fine. And then, obviously we split up, and it was the moment that I finally came to terms with actually, maybe I could be happy and okay spending the rest of my life not ever becoming a mother and being childless. And I could live a happy and fulfilling life like that. And when I had that moment of clarity, that's when I was like, well, then what the fuck am I doing here? And that's when I was able to finally walk away.
Right, leave the relationship. Mm-hmm.
And then I met my husband. Yeah. And then it was the first man I'd ever truly fallen in love with. And we've been together for almost 10 years and I still feel the same way, which is crazy to me. I get bored of guys in a year. But that hasn't happened with him. And then I started to feel okay, maybe I want a kid again. Maybe it could happen. But at that point I was in my late 30s.
Yeah. And you were like, okay, no, I'm not going to have a kid. I'm okay with that. But then it came back once you met the right person.
Yeah. And the thing is that, and he's actually a little bit younger than me. He's 2.5 years younger than me. And he definitely wanted kids. But he knew that I was older and that there was a possibility that I wouldn't be able to have kids. And so when I would ask him about whether or not he wanted children, he would never actually really give me a straight answer. And he would say well, I love our life together as it is, babe. And sure, it would be great. But if we don't, we'll have a wonderful life together. I love you. And it was...
He's I'm staying for you. And if we happen to have a kid, great.
Right. And that's another moment when I realized what a great man he was, because yes, he wanted kids, but he didn't want to put pressure on me to feel like I had to have a child to make him love me. He did not ever... I knew that he did, but he never admitted to it because he never wanted to...
Will he admit to it now?
Yes, 100% now he will. Now that we have a kid, he was like, yeah, no.
He's like, I couldn't have seen our life without it. This is our family. It was
but he knew how devastated I would feel. And as a woman, you feel society makes you feel, especially if you want kids.
If you want kids and you can't have them.
And it makes you feel a certain way about yourself if you can't have children. And I think he didn't want to put that on me.
Yeah.
So he never, kind of pushed that. So then when I got pregnant at 40, that was a really insane, magical moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all meant to be.
Yeah.
If you could have been anything else other than what you are, what would you have done? Would you be a stay-at-home mom? No. Okay. So that's out.
My brains out.
Okay. So no there. But what would you have done?
I mean, the other thing I was studying to be was a teacher.
Okay.
I thought I'll be an English teacher.
Yeah.
That was my major at college, and I like teaching, and I love literature. And so, I was college professor. That's probably honestly what I would be doing.
Could you see yourself doing that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
For all the people who have those naughty teacher fantasies.
Yes. I do have a few sets like that because people do really like that.
Yeah, they do. For sure. People really like that.
Yeah.
The power. I mean, we all spend so much time in school. I mean, at some point, I think we all have somewhere inside of us a teacher that we had a crush on.
Yeah.
So my final question for you is, What is your wish for the adult industry and for all the people who work in it?
Honestly, my wish is that being in the adult industry and choosing this life doesn't affect you in a negative way for the rest of your life. That's what I wish. I wish the stigma would go away. Because, some people come into the adult industry thinking that's what they want, and it's not what they want.
Yeah.
It's not the life for them, which is fine. And then they try to move on, and they try to do something else with their life, and they're blocked from it.
Right. It'd be like a lawyer or a person trying to be a lawyer. They go to law school and they're like, it turns out I don't want to be a lawyer. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You can easily, no one's ever going to be like, you can have this job because you went to law school.
Right.
And I just, that just makes me sad. And also the stigma that I see with, people wanting to start families. One of the saddest things, I won't say her name, but very, very famous porn star who has a kid was telling me about how she doesn't go to any of her school activities, like recitals and stuff like that, because she doesn't want people to see her and associate her with her child, because she doesn't want to put that stigma onto her child. And she wants her child to have a normal life and not be associated with her.
Wow.
And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because you can't go and watch your kid.
Be a parent, do a parent thing,
do a parent thing, be in do a ballet recital, anything like that. And I was just like,
yeah, it's heartbreaking.
That kills me. And, even for me now, my daughter's in a public school now, and, they're constantly going for parent volunteers. And I'm like,
have you done it yet?
No, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I do it, first of all, they do background checks now. Which I don't think is a bad thing.
Yeah, right.
But if they do a background check on me, they're going to know what I do.
Yeah, right.
And I just feel like...
Right. When you have play dates, do you disclose?
No.
Oh, okay. So if you're at a play date...
I don't know if they know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We'll find out. I feel like some of them might, but no one's ever brought it up to me.
Yeah.
So...
What do you guys talk about?
Kids.
Kids stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's silly. I go to those play dates. You just talk about kids.
We just talk about kids.
Yeah.
We don't talk about anything else.
But no one's like, what do you do for work, Holly?
I say
marketing.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
I try to make it really boring.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to there was a role for they wanted a class photographer.
Yeah.
And, at first my husband was like, oh, you should do that. I'm like, I can't. Think about it. It sucks, right? I'm a great photographer. I'm great with kids. I'm not weird. I'm not creepy.
Yeah.
I'm a good mother. I'm a regular person. Mm-hmm. But if I go and I take, you know what I mean? And a mom finds out, I don't even want to invite that conversation, So I just stay away.
It's really tough.
I mean,
Well, we'll have to come back here in 5 years when our kiddos are a little bit older.
Yeah.
And maybe at that point you've had some on-camera experiences. I don't know. We'll see where your world goes.
Yeah.
And we'll revisit all of these topics.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun. Because you can only be interviewed by someone named Keely going forward.
Correct.
Apparently.
That is correct.
There's not that many of us out there, really. Very small population. So, well, Holly, this has been amazing. I know everyone loved learning about you. Thank you for being so raw and vulnerable. And I didn't say this before to Holly, but this is the first time I've ever hosted a podcast. So yay to me.
You did great.
I was like, oh shit. But this was really wonderful. And I know everyone's going to love learning about it. And personally for me, I just want to say too, a lot of the questions I asked were because I sit with so many people who have these questions. I have these questions myself as well, and about society and the porn industry. So thank you for answering them. I think it's tremendously helpful. I love everything that you do. Keep doing it. It's wonderful. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. Well, can you tell everybody where they can find you online, please?
Yes. So I think I introduced myself a little bit before, but I am a sex and relationship coach. I specialize in male performance struggles, which is how Holly and I met. Actually, when I was pregnant, I wasn't even out about being pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
2021 I was on the podcast. You can go back and listen to that.
Yes.
But the best place to find me is my website, which is keelyrankin.com, KeelyRankin. And that has everything you need to find me. And then also I'm on Instagram, which is Keely Rankin Intimacy Coach.
And you guys can find me on Instagram, on Twitter at Holly Randall. Go to hollylinks.com for access to all of my platforms and join my Patreon if you want to support this podcast. And in fact, we're going to do some Patreon only questions, I think.
We are.
In a separate segment, which you would be able to watch if you were a Patreon member. But if you're not, then bummer for you. Go to patreon.com/Holly Randall Unfiltered if you want to change that, which you should. And thank you so much for interviewing me. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for your support. And we'll see you on the next one.